For the forest had been peaceful only moments before, but as the wind rushed through the tall pine trees, and the campfire faded into glowing embers, I heard the quietest words that changed everything. For my best friend shifted beside me inside our shared sleeping bag, and in the darkness she whispered something that made my heart stop. That single question carried years of unspoken pain, silent loyalty, and a truth neither of us had ever been brave enough to face. What happened before sunrise forever changed the meaning of friendship, family, and second chances. Before we continue, if you believe kindness can heal even the deepest wounds, and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in hope, and subscribe to Tales of Kindness. Your support helps us bring more heartfelt stories to people around the world. My name is Rowan Mercer, and until that weekend I believed I understood my best friend better than anyone else. We had known each other since middle school. Mara Ellison was the kind of person who smiled first, helped strangers without hesitation, and somehow made every difficult day seem lighter just by being nearby. We had spent years studying together, celebrating birthdays, helping each other through family problems, and laughing over things nobody else would understand. Everyone around us assumed we would eventually stop calling ourselves best friends and become something more. But life rarely follows the stories people expect. The camping trip was supposed to celebrate finishing graduate school. 4 friends had planned to go, but 2 canceled at the last minute because of work emergencies. Rather than giving up, Mara insisted we should still make the drive into the mountains. She said nature had a way of clearing heavy thoughts, and looking back now, I realized she had been carrying far more than I ever imagined. The campground sat beside a crystal-clear lake, surrounded by endless forests. Bright afternoon sunlight reflected across the water, while birds drifted through the trees. We spent hours hiking peaceful trails, skipping stones across the lake, and laughing about embarrassing memories from years earlier. Everything felt wonderfully normal, but every now and then I caught Mara staring into the distance with a sadness she quickly hid behind another smile. As evening arrived, the temperature dropped much faster than expected. While unpacking our equipment, we discovered that one sleeping bag had somehow been left behind in my garage. Driving back wasn't possible, and the nearest town was nearly an hour away. We laughed about our bad luck and agreed to share the larger sleeping bag. It seemed like the simplest solution between 2 lifelong friends who trusted each other completely. After dinner, we sat beside the campfire, watching sparks rise toward a sky filled with countless stars. The silence between us never felt uncomfortable. It felt familiar, like home. Yet beneath the peaceful night, there was a strange feeling that something important waited just beyond the next moment. Hours later, the fire had nearly disappeared, leaving only soft orange embers glowing against the darkness. The forest became incredibly quiet except for distant owls and the gentle movement of leaves. As we settled into the sleeping bag to stay warm against the cold mountain air, sleep refused to come. Then Mara quietly turned toward me and asked if I was awake. That simple question opened a door she had kept closed for years. She admitted she had almost canceled the trip because she had recently learned heartbreaking news about her father. Although they had barely spoken since she was a child, doctors had informed her that he had only a short time left to live. She confessed she didn't know whether forgiveness was possible, or whether some wounds remained forever. More than anything, she was terrified of making the wrong choice and regretting it for the rest of her life. Listening in the darkness, I realized how often people carry invisible burdens while pretending everything is fine. I thought about all the times she had encouraged me through my own struggles, without ever asking for anything in return. That night there were no perfect answers, only quiet understanding and the promise that she would never have to face those decisions alone. Morning sunlight slowly filtered through the trees, replacing the cold night with warmth and hope. We packed our gear and hiked toward a scenic overlook above the valley. Standing there beneath the bright blue sky, surrounded by endless mountains, Mara seemed lighter than she had the day before. She said that sharing her fears aloud had somehow made them smaller. On our way back toward the campsite, we heard faint cries coming from deeper inside the woods. Following the sound carefully, we discovered a frightened young boy sitting beside the trail with a scraped knee. He had wandered away from his family's campsite after chasing a colorful butterfly and couldn't remember how to return. Fear filled his eyes, but Mara immediately knelt beside him with remarkable calmness, cleaned his injury using our first aid kit, and gently helped him feel safe again. Together we walked slowly through the forest until park rangers and the boy's frantic parents found us. His mother burst into tears as she hugged her son, overwhelmed with gratitude. Watching that family reunite reminded both of us how precious every relationship truly is. Life changes without warning, and sometimes love means choosing forgiveness before time steals the opportunity forever. The drive home felt different. Neither of us filled every moment with conversation because neither of us needed to. Some journeys change people quietly. A week later, Mara decided to visit her father in the hospital. She wasn't expecting a miracle or trying to erase the painful years between them. She simply wanted peace. Their meeting wasn't perfect. There were tears, long silences, apologies that came too late, and memories that could never be rewritten. But before he passed away several weeks later, father and daughter found enough understanding to let go of the bitterness they had both carried for decades. Mara later told me that forgiveness didn't erase the past, but it finally allowed her future to begin. Watching her rebuild herself taught me something I had ignored for years. Real friendship isn't measured by grand gestures or dramatic moments, it's measured by showing up when someone is afraid to face tomorrow. It's sitting beside them in silence, listening without judgment, and reminding them they never have to carry life's weight alone. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like this video, share it with someone who may need hope today, and subscribe to Tales of Kindness. Your support allows these stories of compassion and second chances to reach even more people who need encouragement. Special request: before this story ends, please comment "Kindness always finds a way." We'd love to know where you're watching from, and your words may inspire someone else reading the comments today. Months later, whenever I thought back to the camping trip, I realized the most unforgettable part wasn't the mountain views, the campfire, or even sharing a sleeping bag under the stars. It was the courage to speak honestly during one quiet night, and the reminder that kindness often begins with simply being present for another person. Sometimes the smallest question can lead to the biggest healing, and sometimes the greatest adventure isn't found in the wilderness, but inside the human heart. That weekend reminded me that second chances are real, forgiveness is possible, and the people who stay beside us during our darkest nights are the ones who help us welcome the sunrise with hope once again.